Although Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin and Elon Musk's SpaceX are names that stick out when you think of entrepreneurial moves in the space race, the reality is there are hundreds of startups leading endeavors into space today, and one investment group seeing the opportunity in this area, Space Angels Network, focuses exclusively on space startups and has invested in more than 40 of them, including several from Canada. Chad Anderson is the CEO of the Space Angels Network, and he joins us now on the phone. He joins us from the NASDAQ with a little bit more on this. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So tell us exactly what it is that you do, Chad.
Yeah, so Space Angels is now in our 10th year. We are an angel fund and a venture fund that invests in early stage companies. And we're focused exclusively on the space industry. So we identified some opportunity very early on in 2007, probably before there was much entrepreneurial activity to speak of in the space sector, and began by connecting entrepreneurs and investors to help bring some credibility to the sector. And so we've been instrumental in fueling the growth, and also have seen and experienced all of this growth over the last 5 to 7 years.
This is fascinating that you can look at it purely as an investor. What kind of returns have you looked at? What's your time horizon for making money on this? Because it seems like these are projects that are huge cash sucks.
I think it depends what you're talking about in space, because it's a very big segment, right? And if you break it down, there are, on the nearer term, there's satellites and launch, which make up the existing space sector today. So that's $320 billion a year. And that is rapidly growing and becoming more commercial. But what we're seeing is entrepreneurs coming into this existing sector and disrupting it, reimagining it, doing things better, faster, cheaper than the incumbents. And that's creating a lot of opportunity for startups and investors. Equally, these new entrants are also doing some very big things. So you've shown some video this morning from Jeff Bezos, which I'm sure we've heard about the announcements now. They have developed a large new rocket, and they are proposing to deliver packages to the moon for NASA. And so they're opening up entirely new markets. We've invested in a lunar transportation and logistics company, and they're planning to launch in 2019. So there's a lot more of this type of opportunity. And for instance, this year, I think satellite servicing and in-space manufacturing are going to be big markets as well. So there are near-term opportunities with returns in the 3 to 5, maybe 7-year time frame, and then there's some longer-term plays when you're talking about launch or lunar logistics or asteroid mining.
So Canada plays a role. There are some Canadian startups that are focusing on this area. What are the sort of the standout parts of that story, Chad?
Yeah, absolutely. So Canada has a rich heritage in the space sector, and there's some big companies doing some very big ambitious things. So MDA is a Canadian company, and they're behind the Canada arm, which you've probably seen reaching out and grabbing resupply vessels and pulling them into the space station. MDA is also in talks now, moving forward with an acquisition of Digital Globe, the largest provider of data with remote sensing data, so images of Earth. And that's a $2.5 billion deal that is the largest in this sector. So that's going to really enhance their capabilities on that side of the coin. There's also Earthcast, is a Canadian company out of Vancouver, and they have a camera that's attached to the space station, and you can go on their website now and they have a live feed from the space station at any given time. And there's a number of other companies that I could talk about. One that we've invested in is Kepler Communications, and they're doing launching a number of satellites into low Earth orbit, which will allow existing satellite providers to be able to bring their data down to the Earth much more quickly and get it into the hands of customers much more quickly.
Is this kind of an opportunity that's, like a 10-bagger, kind of, an Amazon, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to disrupt the world, or are these, you think, going to be like utility and highway type of investments?
I think that all of those types of investments are in the future of space. I think that a lot of the opportunity, especially on the satellite side today, is a platform play. We're seeing a lot of, over the last 5 to 7 years, we've seen a lot of new sensors go up, and they're collecting a lot of new data. And now that data is, the next issue is how to bring that data down to Earth efficiently and quickly. And so the operations and the antennas on the ground that bring that data down are the next big thing for us. And then from there, how do you develop a common framework and API layer that the last mile solutions can come and tap into and provide those catered solutions to customers, right? So for us, and you can apply that to all different sectors in the space, but for satellites, it's very visceral and real because we're seeing it materialize in real time.
All right, Chad, thanks for the insight. We appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Chad Anderson, the CEO of the Space Angels Network, joining us from the NASDAQ.